Hi, everyone. Welcome to the nominations and appointments committee for April the 1st. We have two appointment interviews today. The first one we'll be starting off with is a shade tree commission appointment. The first applicant we have today is Lori Bell. It's me, Lori. Lori, I am Councilman Butler for District 4. This is counselor in the District 1. And normally we usually ask the applicants a few questions just to make sure you're familiar with the board or commission or authority that you are interested in. And then also we do have your resume to look through. So just make sure you're someone qualified for the board.
Okay.
So I'll go first and ask the questions, and Councilor Campbell will go next. All right. So again, thank you for having an interest in this board. My first question is, can you just tell me what you think the purpose of the Shade Tree Commission is?
Well, I've known of the Shade Tree Commission for many, many years. I've been a resident of the city for over 35 years. So I remember when the Tree City USA signs first started showing up, and I didn't really know much about it. And I'm actually pretty sure that many residents don't even know there is a Shade Tree Commission. But the purpose of it, its mission is the regulation, maintenance, and promotion of shade trees in the urban environment within the city. I know a few members of the Shade Tree Commission, former members of the Shade Tree Commission. I feel as if right now, in this time of climate change, property values, the way that urban forestry can benefit the residents and the property and all the things that those things do. Shade Tree Commission should be a very important part of the whole city atmosphere in general, and all the shade and all the commissions and things like that shouldn't just be looked at as a regulatory place. I feel like the third aspect of that mission statement that's on the website, promotion of shade trees, is lacking, and I hope that I can help.
For the answer. Then my next question is, do you have any experience with trees or main speed?
Nothing professionally. I live in the Center Park Historic District. I live directly across the street from Center Park for the last, I think I started, well, I've been a board member. I was a board member on the Center Park Historic District Board. But that didn't necessarily directly relate to what is called the Garden Club, which is the committee underneath that board. And then about 7 years ago, I joined the Garden Club. And in that time period, I helped maintain all the planting areas of the park. My husband and I pretty much single-handedly over the last 4 years planted over 1,000 tulip bulbs in the park. Last year we planted over 500 daffodil bulbs in the park for the 275th anniversary. We held extremely dry summers, which last year nothing got done because we thought construction of the park was going on. So everybody went. We signed on that, but I think it was the year before. It's an extremely dry summer. And like I said, since I live right across the street, we have this tree connection with very long hoses and water all the things that we plant. A lot of the things that we planted, I took on at my own expense because I just wanted it to look good for everybody. But enjoyed the park day in and day out.
Thank you for that. And my last question, we normally ask this, help us and how we promote our boards, commission authorities. How did you find out about the Shade Tree Commission?
Like I said, I guess I kind of covered that in the beginning. I saw Tree City USA signs going up. Was that in the 80s or the 90s? And I didn't know how did that happen, when did that happen? My neighbor around the corner from us, Judy Henry, was at the time on the Shade Tree Commission, I believe. And found out a little bit about it through that. I know she was on the shade tree. And that's just the way our neighbors in our neighborhood are. We talk to each other all the time about issues and things. So my husband also was an employee of the planning department here in the city for a long time. Shelley, I don't know. He retired in '98, I think. But he you'll find, and I know I'm looking at two very young and new people, but you'll find things go around and come around in cycles in the city. And he said before I came into it, he goes, I mentioned that planning and community development department made posters in 1973 that was to promote planting trees, and it said plant a tree in '73, and I'm like, it's just gonna show how old we are. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, and as my husband's background is in urban design and planning, and trees and public spaces are very much a part of what he's been involved with all of his life. We've been married for over 30 years. He is also now president of Charles Evans Cemetery, where they are in the process of making that an arboretum. So that is about 5 or 6 blocks away from where I live. I think Center Park in particular exemplifies what mature urban treescapes and open areas can do to enhance neighborhoods. That's
So, covers well.
Yeah.
Thank you for those details as well. So that's enough from me. Councilor Campbell, will take it away.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate your background and just how passionate you are about the environment. In particular, you mentioned that shade trees are the most economical and beneficial infrastructure investment a city can utilize. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, actually, and again, I spent a lot of time when I fill that out, kind of reading and researching things. I always read a lot about climate change, environment, and how it affects us urban environments. And there's a lot of resources available that back up that kind of statement. But for instance, it has been shown that planting trees in urban environment can decrease the temperature 2 to 4 degrees. Also, there's certain studies that show that benefits of planting trees. They produce oxygen, they absorb CO2, they filter out particulates in the air pollution. And unfortunately, all of those benefits of trees are adversely affect Black and brown communities more than the suburban, predominantly white communities, because we don't have as much trees to have those benefits happen in the city.
And another question is, this is all related to what you mentioned already, but in like a brief response, how does the shade tree program benefit it?
Yeah, again, all the same things. But the Shade Tree Commission is not, I mean, I'm talking about all the feel good, no good things about planting trees, but the Shade Tree Commission also is supposed to regulate the city code under trees. It's city code 555, which I also brought up.
So.
Yeah, and read through all of that. There's a lot of regulations. A lot of it falls on property owners. It has to be enforced by the city arborist and the public works department. But there's a lot of responsibility on the individual property owners. And I feel as if the participation of residents, whether they're arborists or not, will help make that enforcement of those codes maybe a little more fair, a little more understanding, a little more just. Personally, I know many people in my neighborhood take down trees because they don't want to messing up their sidewalks that they also have to pay for. We need to start thinking about how to help property owners and not just penalize them for maintaining trees, keeping trees. and see if we can marry some programs between sidewalk, um, redoing your sidewalk and getting trees and planting trees. So the other thing that I am committed to is that when I filled out this application and I started doing a little more research, I did join the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society and I registered for a tree tender certificate class. It's an 8-hour class. You take 4 quizzes and then you get a tree tender certificate. It also, in one of those, it's like broken up into 4 classes. And one of the classes solely concentrates on how to get community involved. So I'm very interested in how that will pan out. I'm a little busy right now, so I didn't get it done right before this this interview, but I do intend on doing that, and hopefully I can encourage all the other members to do that, and hopefully we can get some community-minded. And then we start with the Shade Tree Commission.
So that's a wonderful answer. I look forward to that. We can't have enough of community involvement here in the city. I know the question is very similar to what you explained, but your answer is very different than the others. So I appreciate it. I think that's all I have. Does anyone have questions?
I do have a, so I did see that, under the city code, this is a little, I'm not used to reading codes. I don't know if this is a 3-year, 4-year, or 5-year term. I do see that they meet the third Thursday at 6 o'clock. And they'll say that unfortunately, however this meeting turns out, I am out of the country this April, the 3rd Thursday. So I would not be able to make April's meeting, just FYI. And that is a terrible thing. So I'm interviewing for a job and saying, I need the first 2 weeks off.
That is a 5-year term.
That's what it kind of looks like.
Yep. Yep, that's 5 years. And if the appointment moves forward, then I always share new contact information with whomever the staff liaison is. So in this case, it would be with Lester. So I can certainly let him know to get you plugged in, but that you may miss the next meeting.
Like long plans that I had no idea what but for this going forward, I'll try to keep those Thursdays.
So like, can you explain to Lori the next steps of the process, how you will reach out to her?
Sure. After the interviews are both finished, then the committee deliberates on whether or not the applicant is appointed. If they choose to move forward with it, then you'll be on the next regular committee, regular council meeting for a full body vote. After that, you'll hear from me with, congratulations, and I'll share your contact information. Then you'll get a formal letter from, emails it out from Linda that has a nice big pack of information about the commission, a code of ethics, a charter, all that good stuff. So you'll hear from us then once the vote is taken. You do not, but you're welcome to watch.
Like I said, I'm gonna be out. Quite a stretch here for Saturday, and I'm not home until 21st.
Yeah, no, you don't need to be present for that. Everything will come up in your email as we go through. Yep.
You don't hear from me.
Email. Yep, that's no problem.
Okay, nice to meet both of you. I've seen you on TV. But it's really great to meet both of you. I look forward to hearing from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Yep.
So now our last interview for today will be an appointment for the Animal Control Board. And the applicant's name is, please correct me, Amara Cordero. Amara Cordero. Thank you, Amara, for being interested in this board, and being with us today. The way this interview usually goes is myself, Councilman Butler, District 4, Valerie, Councilor Campos from District 1, will ask, a few questions just to, you know, see if, excuse me. And, excuse me, ask you questions as part of the interview. And, again, your resume is attached, so we also look at that as well. See if, you know, meet qualifications for the boards. So I'll start. My first question is, again, we asked this, how did you first hear about this board?
So the very first time that I heard about the board proposal, was a couple of years ago when I was working for the MLS meeting. I knew that 8 years ago that the MLS meeting held the animal control contract in the city of Reading. But I was not aware of our heavy presence and involvement on the board. So that was the first time that I heard of the animal control board itself. What it's done is that our organization has developed that.
And, you could just give me summarize the purpose of the board and its mission.
So my understanding that the purpose of the board is to address animal control issues within the city of Reading, also to strategize for hot topic plans. I know, for example, the cat population in the community is explosive, I guess is the best way to say it. And so really, you know, digging in for what are the best practices and best ways to control stray animals in the city, animals at large, things of that nature.
You answered my next question, which was, who would you like to see the animal control board accomplish? I think, yeah, the stray cat issue in the city, definitely, something you probably want to see, you know, handled and accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, the animal control board meets twice per year at the convenience of the members. Is that all right with your schedule?
And we do have a very flexible schedule.
Okay. So that's it for me. So I can't vote for it.
Pretty much, answered what I was thinking, in terms of like the stray cats and animals, what do you have in mind in terms of strategies that the board can implement moving forward to address this?
So we, the ARLS organization just had an assessment with Best Friends Animal Society. They are one of the leading experts in community cat prices, cat population issues and things like that. And they actually give us an action plan, so some suggestions from, you know, leading industry experts on what are some great ways to get the population under control. They talk about, you know, there's certainly lots of different ways that you can handle this, but here are what we recommend as best practices. Here are the things that we find to be the most effective. But the most important element of all of that is that it involves a heavy community education aspect. And we have, what I think is so cool, is that we have all of these support and resources to facilitate that in partnership with the city of Reading.
Thank you. All the questions I have.
I think she answered all my questions very much. So, I'm sure you heard Shelley speak about the next steps in the process. So I won't have her waste her breath and, going over it. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. I feel terrible that I didn't have as many questions to answer as she trees. But I guess it's a little more straightforward what the purpose of the animal control is.
Thank you, Brad, for your experience. Speaks more to the role, just being a director in this position, you're bringing a lot to the course.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Again, we'll back out.
Well done for this wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Those judge interviews. First one was Lori for Shade Tree. When you go,
I really liked her. I think I'm just reading her input. I said she has to have background and just, she's like coming out of the blue and just like she said, when we asked her the question, she's very knowledgeable and has done a lot before coming to the board. So, I think she's a great candidate.
and she's a great candidate too. I thought seeing, someone who doesn't have that or landscape
Right,
and that nature, and just seeing like, yeah, knowledge. So
absolutely.
I wouldn't mind recommending it.
I would recommend her as well.
Myra, and so your thoughts on her?
I think her background, speaks volumes for her, just being already in a position that's very involved with the community. I think she's a great candidate. For the animal control, I don't know what, I always wonder like why I apply now and then, because she heard about it years ago, but maybe this is the time for her, so.
Or
That would
schedule,
be-
maybe allow it to.
So I can speak to that a little bit. The Animal Rescue League gets 2 representatives on the Animal Control Board as the city's animal control agent. And they have just had a staff person leave that was serving on the board, so she would be stepping into that position.
So, animal control board, we won't have to wait to interview other.
No, we have more openings than we have applicants at this point.
Is that the same for,
Same with Shade Tree. Yep, they are needing several volunteers as well.
But John, here also is moving to be interested.
He-
in the one, this many positions already.
There, I think, well, there's 2 open seats. One is supposed to be a veterinarian. We have had, that's been vacant for a long time. So you would be able to do like you did with the Board of Health, where if you can't find a veterinarian for a long time, you could appoint someone else. And there is one person who, whose term expired, who's not going to reapply. And there are 2 that I'm waiting to hear back whether they're going to reapply or not. So there's a potential for several openings on this board.
that's for.
Animal control.
Just think about the speed, yes, we don't. Vanessa will recommend it to, boards. So, where we're, I'm just reviewing the pending applications. Hopefully. I guess. When the next. Combination, how many interviews, hopefully.
So the next one, as you can see on the pending memo, last time we met, I didn't have any more. And now I've gotten another bunch. But I don't think they'll be ready for the next one. So my plan for the next meeting on the 15th was to review, back to how you feel now that you've been in this a few months, using the interview sheets, and if anything needs to be changed on those. And I also wanted to go back to the discussion we had about a survey for those who are choosing not to reapply. So I put a few questions together just to start the discussion with the committee and see. So there won't be interviews next time, but we'll have time then to discuss these other topics.
So Christopher last slides and 8 commissions, but now a little bit, are we following up on his background clearances? Or you
Yeah.
just kind of told him and just waited to hear back from?
I'm waiting to hear back from him. I can follow up with him again. I have not done that for a while.
Does he have the links to get this in, that these are just never possible?
Yep, we have a letter that we send out to everyone by email that has the links in it that will take you directly to, yeah. So I can.
So I can, like, why is this so serious? Then you have, Ellie Coast for the redevelopment authority, is she just apply, so then it says interview by full body counts, you won't come into us, right?
So the redevelopment authority and the water authority, former councils have determined that those are very important positions and should be interviewed more with the full body rather than by committee. So if that's okay with all of you, I'll continue that.
So, why does she?
She's the new people. I just started their background reviews today. So I give staff a few days to get back to me with the results. So once I have that, then then she'll come to a committee of the whole.
Okay, and that's when we should do.
Yep, it would be during a committee of the whole rather than during nominations. Yes.
Interview with the person or virtual or just a survey sent to them.
So I think it's been a while since I looked at that survey. I think that we talked before about doing the survey with the option of coming in if they wished to do so. So think about that till next meeting.
Survey or that's something.
So I was on a bunch of human resource websites, for professional exit interviews, and I kind of plucked a few, but I'm glad to share with all of you what I've put together so far. I'll send that out.
We'll give us time to discuss that.
Okay.
Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Not today.
Your questions?
No,
It's just, on the scientific stuff.
sorry.
One, the one we put into the room, is very loud. Well, it's time.
Do you have anything?
No, all good, thank you, Bryce.
All right, thank you for tuning in to today's nomination and appointment committee meeting. Have a nice day.